Hi Leo, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your 2021 general overview. We'll look at each of your houses of the zodiac based on your sign, and we'll actually roll some astrology dice to see where your main areas of focus will be as far as that goes, and we'll actually pull an oracle card after all that. And thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. This is just a little something extra I decided to do. If you guys are looking for the January readings, the general order of, those are both already up. You can just check them out in the playlist section of the channel. And as far as the deck I'm using here, the primary deck is the Haindl Tarot, and the oracle card will be the Wisdom of the Oracle. All right, so we'll get started with the dice, like I said. We'll go from there. Whoa. Okay, so you guys got Taurus, and for you guys, that's your 10th house of career and social status, and also, of course, Taurus, the natural ruler of the second house, could just be saying you have a lot of focus on your career and finances this year. Speaking of career, we also have 10, so that would be your 10th house. Again, career and financial status. And we have Neptune, so that's Piscean energy, 12th house energy. Could just be saying related to spirituality for you guys as well. So keep an eye out for Pisces energy this year. All right. And with that out of the way, we'll get started with the actual cards. So representing your first house, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So this is actually Jupiter energy here. And that's definitely a pretty positive energy to have for your first house, definitely. Also, this could just be pointing to saying that maybe for a lot of you, your focus will be on relationships as well, given that Jupiter moved into Aquarius recently, which is your opposite sign of relationships, partnerships as well. So it could just be saying that that's where your focus is. Could also point to a change in luck for the positive, given that it's in the upright. So definitely a very positive card to see in the first house. All right, representing your second house, we have Justice, which is Libra energy, Love, or the Two of Cups, and Daughter of Stones in the West, which is the equivalent of the Page of Pentacles. So now this could be saying a few different things. For some of you, this could just be saying that you might enter into a partnership with someone where you might feel the give and take is equal, especially around finances, possessions. You might find someone who's on your level in the economic sense. With the Two of Cups there, again, that could point to love, possibly even with someone within the workplace too, given that this is showing up in the second house for you guys. And with the Daughter of Stones, it could just be saying that it might start out a bit slow for you guys. It might not jump off the page to you immediately, but looks like it could grow over time. For others of you as well, this could just be saying that you might want to incorporate a bit more creativity and emotions into your day-to-day life when it comes to career and finances. And let's see if anything else comes to mind. And possibly even a partnership too. That could be what this is pointing to. You might partner up with someone around finances in some way. So for example, you might go into business with someone. You might just find someone who ends up being a good partner for you as far as business goes. They might point you in the right direction as far as career opportunities, things along those lines. But overall, pretty positive energies to see here in your second house. All right, in your third house, we have the Eight of Cups, which in this deck, we have the keyword failure for that. And we have the Star, which is the major arcana energy for Aquarius. So this could just be saying to try to be mindful around your communications, especially within your romantic relationships. There could be some room for misunderstanding there. You might feel like you're not being understood by your relationship partner, which obviously could point to big relationship issues. So just keep in mind that there is that potential this year as far as that goes. And the Eight of Cups energy usually is an energy pointing to leaving something behind and looking for something more fulfilling. I don't necessarily think that means that all of you will be leaving your relationships behind, but probably at least that there will be at least a little bit of work that needs to be done around communication within the relationship. All right. And I will say too, while it's in my mind, this could also just point to you might feel like your vision might not be received the way that you're hoping, right? You might express to someone your creative vision, for example, because seventh house doesn't always have to be romantic. Romantic relationships could just be partnerships in general. So you might have a vision for something, you might feel like someone's not really seeing it the way that you hope they would, and you might actually continue to look for someone else who does see your vision more correctly. If that's the case, looks like that might come through for you guys, given what we just saw in the second house. All right. And the fourth house, we have Eight of Swords, which is interference, and Eon. So this could just be saying that it could even be within your home environment that you might be feeling a bit stifled. Maybe family members of yours, for example, you might feel like they're not really um, open to your ideas. Maybe they're kind of talking you down from your ideas. You might express something to them and it might say, oh, you can't do that. That's not really possible. So you might feel a little bit limited by them. Or if not even through active conversation, maybe just a self-limiting belief that you might have had from your early upbringing that might come up for you guys this year. And with the Eon energy underneath that, though, it looks like there will be a rebirth there. This is the equivalent of the Judgment card in traditional tarot, if you guys are wondering. So looks like it could just be saying that whatever that self-limiting belief is, or again, even if it's an active thing where you might have someone in your home environment that might kind of limit your possibilities for you, looks like that'll be coming up for review for you guys this year, and it looks like you'll successfully move past that as well. So that's what I see there, and obviously that could be tied into the communication issues we see in the third house too. All right, moving on to your fifth house. So a lot of cards came up here, so fitting given that you guys are the natural rulers of the fifth house. But let's see what we got. So we have Nine of Stones, so this is Virgo energy. The Fool. Two of Swords, which is Libra energy. Four of Cups, which is Cancer energy. And Five of Stones, which is Taurus energy. So really, this could just be saying that for the most part, you guys are probably single, or at least enjoying your singlehood, and with the Fool energy beneath that, could just be saying that you might actually decide that you're ready to take the leap of faith and possibly get into a connection, possibly even with someone from your past as well, given that we see Two of Swords, peace here. Sometimes this is referred to as truce energy. Now, if that's the case, it looks like it might still be a bit of a bumpy road because we do see mixed happiness with the Four of Cups. You might feel a bit torn about it, like, okay, yes, this is good, but maybe it's not, quite to where you hoped it would be, for example. And with the Five of Stones, could just be saying that, it might not work out long term. So this actually makes me think of the fact that we're going to have that Mercury retrograde in Aquarius that starts sort of the very end of January, moving into February as well, obviously. And that's in your opposite sign. So that could be the timeline when this might take place for you guys. You might end up reconnecting with an ex and then maybe decide, oh, I don't know if this is the right thing for me. For some of you, will be able to work it out, but it looks like there will definitely at least be some difficulty around that. Now, if this is around creativity for you guys, could just be saying that you guys might actually, maybe you've had some success in, let's say, a traditional career, and you might decide, oh, I don't know, I might want to go out off on my own and start my own thing. Could just be really mulling it over. Like, do I want to stay in my traditional career? Or do I want to possibly, again, like I said, do the side business idea you might have? If that's the case, it looks like you could be a bit torn around that too. And it might actually start out quite slowly for you guys if that's the case. So at least initially, I would say you might want to hold on to the traditional job and at least start this new thing as a bit of a side gig, because it might not financially support you in a way you're hoping for right away. But it looks like it can grow over time. All right, and moving on to the sixth house energy. We have Son of Cups in the north. So this is the equivalent of the Knight of Cups. The Power of the Earth, which is the Four of Pentacles. That's Capricorn energy, which for you guys is your sixth house. So fitting, it shows up in the sixth house. And Mother of Cups in the north, which is the equivalent of Cancer energy, which is your 12th house. So interesting energy here, because what I see this could be saying is that for a lot of you, you're being asked to actually incorporate some more creativity, some more emotion into your work lives. And that's actually going to be the key to growth for you guys this year. Because the Four of Pentacles usually represents holding on to something a little bit too tightly, right? A little bit too set in your ways. But if we look at this, we see the Son of Cups progressing to the Mother of Cups, which shows growth. So could just be saying that that's the key, Try to loosen up a little bit. The Four of Pentacles, especially in this deck, shows that you have all of these abilities at your disposal, but it could just be saying you might need to tune in a little bit emotionally to actually get that forward progress that you're looking for. For some of you, this can even represent wanting to take something in a bit more of a spiritual path as far as your work lives go. If this is around health, could just be saying, that if try not to overdo it when it comes to indulging as far as alcohol goes, for example, just a generic example there. And daily routine, same thing. For your daily routine, if you're looking to switch up your daily routine, maybe even your health routine, it says just try to tune into your emotions and do something a bit more creative, as opposed to if you're getting bored with the standard gym workout, for example, we do the same routine every day. Try to find ways to switch it up. All right, in the 7th house, we have me not being able to pick up the card. We have the Devil. So this is Capricorn energy here, which again is 6th house. So I'm seeing a few different things here that could point to you guys possibly getting into a relationship with someone from the workplace. If it's not that, could just be saying that this is very passionate connection. You might feel like you've known this person before, or again, like I said, for some of you, you might actually be coming back around to a relationship from your past, given what we saw in the 5th house. But it could just represent that there's a karmic tie there, whether it's someone new or someone from the past, where, there's still some growth to be experienced through the process. These types of connections don't necessarily last forever, but at the very least, they're definitely beneficial as far as the soul growth goes. And this could just be saying that you have a lot of sexual attraction toward each other as well. Some of you, this could actually be a Capricorn, possibly a Taurus as well. All right, 8th house energy, we have the Empress, which is typically seen more as Taurus energy, but could also be Libra, given that it's tied to Venus. We see the Venus symbol there, and the Moon, which is Piscean energy. Could also be Cancer, of course. And interestingly enough, for you guys, Cancer is your 12th house, which is the house Pisces naturally rules. So this could just be the primary thing that I'm getting from this, really. Could just be saying that when it comes to intimacy and whatnot, there's definitely the potential for you guys to get pregnant this year. So if that's something that you are looking forward to, that's awesome. But if not, keep that in mind when you are indulging, that that's a possibility, and take precautions there. Now, this could also just be saying, too, that there's going to be a lot of enjoyment. Possibly there is a slight potential for some deception there, but usually it would be more of like a self-deception in this case. So, just try to make sure you're seeing the connection clearly. But overall, with the Empress energy here in the Moon, I feel like this is saying that this is someone that you actually would connect with more on an emotional level, as opposed to maybe in your previous connections that wasn't the case, since I'm seeing some Cup energy mixed in here. So that's what I see there. And I would say also just be a little bit careful around investments too, because 8th house can also point to investments with others. And, just make sure you're seeing the situation clearly there. All right. In the 9th house, we have the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy. Strength, which is you guys, that's the Major Arcana card for Leo, and the Hermit, which is the Major Arcana card for Virgo. So a lot of significant energy in your 9th house. So for some of you, this could actually be pointing to maybe some of you considering going back to school. That could be what the possibility is, where some of you are like, okay, I'm in this career, it's not really, maybe it's financially fulfilling, but it doesn't really speak to your soul as much. So maybe you're thinking about going back to school for something that you are more passionate about. That's certainly a possibility. You could even be just reviewing your life philosophies in some ways, where you might be looking at the traditional beliefs that you've held, especially what we saw in the 4th house there, that could point to that as well. And then seeing what really speaks to your soul and actually digging deep to find out what does fit best for you. That's another way that that energy could play out too. Um, we do have Chiron in Aries for an extended stay, which is your ninth house, so it could just be pointing to that energy as well too, where you're looking at those old wounds that you might have had from, again, your early upbringing and really seeing, hey, is it time for me to move past this? If that's the case, it looks like there could definitely be some success there, given that your card's right in the middle of this. And with that Hermit energy, it shows that you would have that growth. So looks pretty positive overall. But again, looks like it will be pretty significant energy for you guys. All right, 10th house. So this is more of like a career, social status energy. We have Mother of Swords in the south, which is the equivalent of Libra energy, and 10 of Swords, which is Gemini energy. So again, what I'm getting here, given that Libra is your third house communication, and then Gemini, the natural ruler of the house communication, could just be saying, again, just try to be mindful around communication this year. Like I said, that first Mercury retrograde this year is going to be in your opposite signs. Obviously, there could be some issues there. And they're basically going to be moving through the air signs this year. So eventually there's going to be the one with the Libra energy, which is your third house communication. There's going to be one with Gemini. So, for most people, watching communication is going to be a theme this year more so than others. But yeah, for some of you, this can, again, be you seeking that balance, right, with the Libra energy here that we also see with the Justice card. And possibly because of that, you might leave a career path behind. That could be what this is saying. You might say, hey, this is great. I'm financially satisfied, but it doesn't really speak to me outside of that. So you might decide to shift careers. Like I said, if that's the case, try to keep in mind, if you're doing a side gig, either make sure you have some money saved up just to be prepared for the fact that it might not take off right away. But, or like I said, just keep that job for a while and start the other one on the side. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing there. And again, with the Libra energy, it looks like this will actually balance out for you guys in a positive way. So even though seeing the 10th house energy with the 10 of Swords looks a bit rough, seeing the Libra energy in there as well is a pretty positive thing overall. Speaking of positive, in the 11th house of groups, friendships, hopes and wishes, we have the Four of Wands. It's referred to, as perfection in this deck. So obviously pretty positive energy here. This is Aries energy, and we were just talking about the 9th house energy. We saw that there. This looks like you could definitely have some positive progress there. Looks like you might have beneficial friendships or possibly mix with new groups that might be beneficial to you guys and helping you build some stability in a certain area. So definitely a pretty positive energy to see there. And in the 12th house, we have the Ace of Wands, Nine of Cups, which is referred to as fortune in this deck, and Ace of Stones, which is the Ace of Pentacles, basically. So, Ace of Wands, given that you guys are fire energy, right? This could just be saying that in the subconscious level, you guys are actually, having a bit of a shift where you're realizing, okay, yes, taking this kind of approach, for example, has brought you a certain level of satisfaction, right? Got you to that Nine of Cups point, but now you might actually be looking for a bit more stability. So, for example, if you were just more wrapped up into passionate connections and not necessarily thinking about the long term with those connections, now your focus might shift a little bit to where you're like, okay, well, now I might be interested in something a bit more stable, just something along those lines. Outside of that, could just be saying that subconsciously, if you have a creative idea and you've just been struggling around how to make it a financially lucrative one, right? That could be saying that, tune into your intuition and you will get that insight to turn this idea into something more tangible. So something to keep in mind there. Pretty positive energy there as well. And like I did say, when we rolled those dice, Neptune came up. So to me, that 12th house and creative energy definitely is going to be a theme for you guys this year. All right, so last thing we'll do is we'll pull a card from Wisdom of the Oracle deck here. I did pre-shuffle this deck, but I'm just going to be looking for one jumper with general advice, and then we'll wrap up. And if I shuffle for a while without any cards coming up, I'll just pull one. Put the deck down and we'll pull one. But at least I like to get one to wrap up with here. Got one there. All right. So you guys got regeneration. There's the artwork and the numbers 46. So yeah, for some of you, this could definitely be pointing to that energy that was feeling. Like I said, you guys might be going back to a relationship from the past, or again looking at some of your old beliefs and possibly growing from that as well. But we'll see what the actual messages say for that card. Okay, it says rebirth, second chances, new opportunities. The Oracle's message: second chances are available to you now. Whatever opportunities you thought were dead are now revived in a more authentic, stronger form. Whatever you may have perceived as a failure or loss is now being replaced by something better and more powerful growing in its place. This rebirth is assured. Step into your new life. Destiny is being fulfilled in wondrous ways. So definitely a pretty positive message there. We do see, again, that Neptune energy, which is 12th house energy, 10th house energy. So there's definitely some energies at play that resonate with that. And also what we saw in the main spread. The relationship message says the world is based on connections and relationships. No matter what loss has occurred in the past or even now, definite endings are only illusions. There is life after death, love after loss, and in this moment you are radiating the regenerative life force energy that makes you irresistible to love in all forms. Now is the time when you will see evidence of this new emergence. Can you feel it? Love is rising up to greet you. So definitely a pretty positive message there. Like I said, we did see the devil energy, which to me points to definitely pretty heavy karmic connections. And like I said, in the fifth house, looks like you could be going back to something from your past as well. The prosperity message says, what happens when it appears you failed at something? Do you see the beauty in the lesson? The understanding that arises from difficulties is like a seed that lies dormant for a time. Then once it germinates in your subconscious, it pushes through into your awareness. It is becoming apparent that there is a new you, a new start, a more powerful version and form of what you began to plant in the garden of your imagination has surfaced. You are ripe for success. New opportunities, much better than those that came before, appear like gifts from the gods. Now is one of those times when out of seeming loss and failure comes remarkable abundance. Do not dwell on the past because you really are experiencing a rebirth. So definitely pretty positive energy there. As far as prosperity goes, we already mentioned your second house, 10th house energy. We see the 10th house energy came up as significant for you guys this year, and also Taurus, which is again your 10th house too. So could definitely be some shifts for you guys around your career. But hopefully that resonated with you guys. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys in a few weeks with the February readings. All right, bye.